Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Duff Athletic Center here on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi. It has been a crazy day, but a crazy week, I guess, since we last met with you with Athletic Director Bill McGillis. Bill, last time we talked, it was the search was underway to find the new football coach at Southern Miss. Nobody's seen you for until you surfaced a little bit over the weekend. You were gone all over the country. What was the search like? Give us a little of the background of what went on as you were searching for the new football coach.
Well, first of all, they may not see me for the next week either because I might go to the beach and just crash. But I'll tell you, it's when you step away for a week and you just engage as intensely as we did on the road, you miss a lot of things, including 2 great wins by our men's basketball team. I'm looking forward to you debriefing me tonight on those 2 games. But you know, I thought it was an excellent search. I think it was shortly after you and I visited the last time and shared a message with our fans later on that night. We got to it, and we had a group of prospective coaches targeted from the get-go because we had prepared for the possibility. You just have to be prepared, as we talked about. And we never really deviated course. We were able to get in front of the coaches that we wanted to get in front of. There were 2 or 3 that I would have loved to have visited with, you know, that we did not have the chance to just because of the circumstances of timing. But when I first put together a list about a year ago, just knowing whether it was this year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you know, the job was probably going to open again. And I had Jay on that target list at the top from the get-go, along with a handful of other guys. And that was based on my observations of him while at Southern Miss of the job he was doing at Alcorn State. And then we had a chance to visit 2 or 3 times in a social setting over the course of my 2.5 years here and just got to know him a little bit. But this week was great. Excellent coaches, great candidates, you know, from the National Football League, from head coaches at the college level to coordinators and assistants, and also our coordinators here. All very capable people. And I think we landed in a great spot. The right outcome, and I think the key term, John, is it's the right match. It's the right match for Southern Miss at this time.
You probably wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Would our fans be surprised at how much interest there was at being the head football coach at Southern Miss from coaches all over the country?
Probably so. Probably so. And also, you know, I think most of our fans are smart enough to realize when coaches and or agents float things out there, a lot of times there's misinformation, including, you know, guys withdrawing from the search and things like that. You know, everybody that we visited with would have enjoyed the opportunity to be our head coach. There's no doubt. But, you know, Southern Miss could have hired a lot of people. Could have hired assistant coaches from the most prominent programs in America. You name the program, whoever you think are the best programs in the country, we could have hired from that staff. And then certainly a lot of head coaches that are coaching today at the FCS level, the Division II level, but some also at the FBS level that had interest in our job. So, yeah, very widespread interest because it's a great job. It's a great job. You got 100 years of tradition here of good football, of consistent success, and most aspiring coaches, especially those that have some experience and know what they want, will tell you the reason they want to come to Southern Miss is because they can win. That's why they want to come here. They can win. And 13 straight bowl games is evidence of that. The long run by Coach Bauer, Coach Fedora's success, the recent success of winning 9 games in 2015, excellent facilities, passion for football. You put that together, you know, and it's a winning formula, and that's what coaches want. So that's what I attribute that strong interest to.
How did the search sort of come about, or what all of a sudden did Jay Hopson sort of surface in your mind as this is the guy maybe that we're going to end up getting at Southern Miss?
You know, Jay and I visited 3 times, and he was kind of on the front end, and then he was on the back end. And really, I just need to get to know him and find out more about how he was wired, how he would serve Southern Miss. You know, I knew what his passion for our university was. Although I came to realize the depth of that to an even greater extent when we had a chance to visit this week. But it was really important in my mind that we hire a head coach who would facilitate a successful transition to 2016. Okay, we want long-term success, but I want short-term success in 2016. And so, and I think our football team and our players, the culture, you know, is really good. It's really good. And I didn't want to make a decision that would disrupt that momentum. And so in visiting with Jay, I got a chance to better understand the kind of offense he'd run, the kind of defense he'd run, what he was thinking in terms of the staff, how he felt about the strength and conditioning program at Southern Miss, you know, and a lot of those things. And I didn't believe that major surgery was necessary. And yet, whoever I hired, and in this case Jay, is going to have the full discretion, you know, to put his imprint on this program, to do it his way. And so I got very comfortable that he could build on the momentum we have and do it his way and have success next season. And then I think because of the passion for Southern Miss, and you know, you and I haven't talked about the contract yet, we certainly can. You know, he's not going anywhere. He's just not. I mean, there's very few occasions in which I would say that when hiring a coach, but you know, this could be a situation where this is a guy that's here 10 to 15 years.
And you said when we sat down 8 days ago, you wanted somebody who wanted to be at Southern Miss and wanted to be at Southern Miss to, you know, for more than just a few years.
Yeah, and you can't always control that, you know, and I did not want to limit our pool to just guys that would retire here.
Right.
You know, I think that would be short-sighted. You know, we need to have success and just, you know, fundamentally needed to hire a great football coach. But having said that, I would much rather have a head coach here for 10 to 15 years than 3 or 4. And we've got a chance to do that with Jay. We talked about other jobs that I quizzed him as to what his interest level would be in those other jobs in a year, 2, 3, 4. And, you know, and he just doesn't have interest in coaching anywhere else other than Southern Miss. I mean, you never say never, but I believe, while not being a graduate, I believe he is truly all about Southern Miss.
You mentioned the contract. I wasn't going to ask you contract questions, but since you brought that up, give us, if you can, just kind of the basics
Sure,
of what his
sure.
contract will be about.
Jay's base salary will be $500,000, so he'll earn $500,000 a year. It's a 4-year contract, which is the maximum in the state of Mississippi. I'm not sure if our fans realize that, because sometimes in most occasions you read about new 5-year contracts. In some cases maybe 6, but generally they're 5 years. In the state of Mississippi, contracts are capped at 4 years. So Jay will have a 4-year contract, $500,000 a year, and then some very creative and attractive incentive opportunities for him. Things that have not been done here before, have maybe been done on occasion at other schools, but I think we got pretty innovative because I like paying for performance, not speculating on performance. And so things like, we've got an incentive in there for any time we beat an opponent from a high resource 5 conference, there will be a bonus tied to that particular game. Any week, not just season, any week that we are ranked in the college football playoff rankings, which come out 7 or 8 weeks into the season, every week that we're ranked in the future, he'll receive a bonus for that. And some other things like that, which I think, you know, I think we were prudent and financially responsible with this contract, given our challenges here at Southern Miss, and so you know, I think it's a good base, but there's a lot of upside too if we achieve the great things that we could. The other thing is on the buyout. People, you know, our fans understandably feel jilted, you know, in many ways. by some of the great coaches who have not been here a long time. And I'm not passing judgment on those coaches at all. They had opportunities that made sense for them. But in this case, when Jay talked about this being his dream job and the destination for him, I structured a contract that reflects that. So if Jay leaves any time basically before the 4th football season that he's here, so through 3 years and a couple months after 3 years, he would have to pay the university a $2 million buyout. A lot of times buyouts the coaches do equate to their 1-year salary, or they might de-escalate from that down each year. No, we proposed a $2 million buyout for Jay if he leaves at any point in this contract until the very last season. And he did not bat an eye. He didn't hesitate. John, it was the easiest negotiation I've done in 30 years. We visited Saturday for the 3rd time for 2 or 3 hours. And when that was winding down, I asked him if he'd like to be our head football coach. I told him he was my guy. He said he'd love to be our head football coach. I slid the deal across the table. He barely looked at it. He said, "Let me get it to my guy." I said, "Okay, let me call the office." They shot it to his guy by either text or email, and his guy called him back in 10 minutes. Jay said, "I want to sign this before Bill gets on an airplane." The deal was done. And so it says a lot about Jay, what's important to him, and how he views the opportunity for success, and how he views his longevity here.
All right, one more question before we wrap up. A lot of momentum coming off the 9-5 football season, the bowl appearance, the championship game in Conference USA. If the hiring of Jay is any indication from the press conference, that momentum continues to build towards next football season.
No doubt, no doubt. And a week ago when we sat down, I was a little worried that change might blunt our momentum a little bit. But today it's apparent that we're going to have a surge in momentum. And as we talked about at the press conference, we need to seize this opportunity right now. We need to close out the recruiting class, and I'm looking forward to visiting with our fans on Wednesday around the state when we do that. Carry the momentum into spring practice, into the summer, and then into Lexington. And we need our fan base right now. I mentioned at the press conference and in my remarks that 2 things are critical to our future and for truly getting to the top, not just talking about it. Number 1, again, is what's on our coin, to the top together. So everybody that loves Southern Miss on our program needs to rally together right now. I know I talk about this a lot when we're together, but now's the time. Rally together to build this thing, because it's going to take all of us. And the second thing is we need outstanding leadership from the new head coach. And I think those 2 things are in place. I think we can do it. I think we've got a huge future in front of us. And season ticket renewals are being taken right now, and new sales, new seats. It's all available. Time to get on board.
Well, I wish you'd do this, but you won't, because I know you deserve a vacation, a little week off just to kind of relax. But I know you won't do that. You'll be on to your next project, whatever that might be. But great job, I think, in hiring Jay Hopson. Perfect fit. I think everybody agrees here at Southern Miss. So great job by you and the folks that assisted you, and that gets us all excited for next year.
Thank you, John. And I want to encourage our fans too with the heart of the basketball season is still underway. Because of the intensity of this, I got distracted from that a little bit, and we need to get our fans to Reed Green Coliseum to support Joy Lee McNellis and the Lady Eagles, and to support Doc Sadler and the men's basketball team. And they're doing a great job. Both of those coaches, both of those programs have bright futures. So let's finish the basketball season strong over the next few weeks, and then let's get Wendy Hogue and Scott Berry and their teams off to a great start, which is only like 2 weeks away.
Right, it's close.
It's amazing.
All right, Bill. Well, we got the coins. I'm sure you've given Jay one already.
I did.
So,
I gave him one today.
You've taught him the right things to say. So Southern Miss to the top.
Thank you, John.
All right, together. We'll do it, and thank you, folks, for all you've done here at Southern Miss, helping us continue to grow. So keep up the good work out there, and we'll see you next time here from the Athletics Center at Southern Miss.